Hey guys, today we're going to be discussing the top 10 things that I personally think need to be taken out of every single PE routine. Some of this stuff you might know, some of this stuff might surprise you, so let's get right into it. Alright guys, hey, it's Hink here. For those that don't know me, I'm actually a real board-certified medical doctor. I wear this mask to protect my anonymity because I talk about things like penis enlargement, okay? Today we're going to be discussing the top 10 things that we need to take out of our enlargement regimens, okay? And so let's get right into it. The number one thing, so this isn't in particular order, but let's get into it. Number one thing is going to be nicotine. And I know there's so many guys that abuse nicotine and use nicotine and they want to quibble with me, and that's fine, but let me present some of the data here, okay? If you haven't seen my video on why you need to quit nicotine, I'll put up a little screenshot here, but here's a paper that shows a systematic review and basically what happens when you smoke, okay? When you're exposed to nicotine at all, you have increased endothelial impairment, you have decreased nitric oxide availability, you have increased oxidative stress, and you have arteriosclerosis impairing penile arterial flow. All of those things are very bad for your penile health, okay? And so they're very bad for erection quality. So if you are smoking, consuming nicotine while doing PE, then you're putting yourself at an increased risk of not only things like erectile dysfunction, but things like fibrosis and long-term penile injury. And so I know what you're saying, well, that's just cigarette smoking because of the other additives in cigarette smoking. No, guys, it's actually just nicotine in general. Nicotine is a vasoconstrictive substance. So here's a quote. There's abundant evidence that nicotine prevents vasodilation of blood vessels and reduces blood flow, which impairs normal erectile function and negatively affects males' performance. Just nicotine in general. There's also a randomized study here that looked at high versus low rates of nicotine. And basically what they showed is that, yeah, obviously more nicotine is bad, but nicotine will significantly decrease the rate of dilation of the penile arterial blood vessels, and so it decreases blood flow, guys. So you have to stop consuming nicotine. Smoking, vaping, whatever it may be, snuff, it doesn't matter, guys. Stop nicotine. Do your own research. Don't just take my word for it. So what's next? Noose extenders, guys. So I'll put up a little picture of a noose extender here, but it's basically an extender that instead of using like a vacuum cup along the glands, it actually just has a strap, and you strap this thing across. Here's a picture of the nerves and the glands of the penis, and you can see that if you are compressing those nerves, especially for extended period of times, you are going to increase your risk of things like nerve damage, okay? Not only have nerve damage, but it become permanent nerve damage, especially if you leave this thing strapped. There are people who actually sleep in noose extenders. Who would be stupid enough to do that? I did. You know, before I knew any better, I was so desperate for enlargement. Yes, I slept in a noose extender. So I'm not faulting you here, but you got to stop all noose extenders. Use a vacuum cap or do something like a compression hanger, like the male hanger, for example. Ben, you need to give me my 10%, man. But those types of things will not put that same stress on the actual nerves of the penis, especially along the glands, but avoid a noose extender. So if you don't mind, take a second to like and subscribe. It lets me know that what I'm doing is worth my time, basically, and you guys are finding some sort of use. And obviously the subscriber count always helps the channel grow, so I appreciate it. So what's next? Traditional hard clamping. And I'm sure a lot of the veterans are gonna, get at me for this. Let me see if I can find my actual hard clamp. All right, so this is basically a traditional cable clamp, hard clamp, okay? And so why do I not recommend this? I'm not the smartest guy in the world, guys, but this is very hard technique to get right. And I've watched so many videos, researched this stuff, but so it's very hard to get right. And number two, this does not expand. When you clamp this into place around your junk, number one, that's not a normal size, like a normal dimension of a phallus. And so this is not a normal shape for your penis to be in. You can significantly constrict the blood flow, dramatically increase the internal pressure in your penis, but more importantly, when you have this clamped around your junk, it does not expand at all. So even if you accidentally Kegel, you are trying to push blood flow through this, which does not work, and you will damage the pelvic floor muscles doing this. Hink, you're full of crap. Well, it happened to me, and it's happened to a lot of the guys that I coach. But once again, guys, this is my opinion, my take. Do other research, listen to other guys. Don't just blindly listen to what I say. But I would personally never, ever, ever hard clamp. And there are a lot of other options like soft clamping, for example, and even modified ways to clamp that you can do that are put you at a much lower risk of injury, guys. So hard clamp, gotta go, guys. So this is a hot take here, okay? Hot take hink here. All day stretchers, guys. So there's, for example, something that's called the Phalloson Forte. It's actually FDA approved device. So meaning overall, it's relatively safe. Now, it's not necessarily FDA approved for like penile enlargement. It's actually for things like recovering after a prostate surgery or even things like Peyronie's disease. But I personally, I don't like the idea of anything around your penis for extended periods of time. And so hence all day stretcher, you can typically wear it for like 6 to 8 hours and sometimes with small breaks in between. So if you, for example, like put on a vacuum cup and don't realize that you put it on incorrectly, you could develop a blister during that time. Or if for some reason the way you applied it is putting abnormal pressure on some of the nerves of the penis, you can leave that on there for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours at a time, sleep in it, for example. That can definitely increase your risk of an injury. So overall, is it a pretty safe device? I mean, honestly, it really is pretty safe. But I personally don't like the idea of an all-day stretcher. Now, this is my video, this is my list. Please feel free, sound off in the comments if you strongly disagree with me, help some other people out, because I certainly don't claim to be some kind of expert. I'm just kind of a, silly guy in a mask up here, preaching what I think. Next, traditional Bathmate, guys. I've said so many times about how I think this is a horrible device. When you go to use this, you put it, you put your penis in through here, and you have your nerves that run along this, the dorsal surface. And so when you're compressing that, you are literally jamming that into the neurovascular bundle, okay? Not only that, but you are using this with water. Water does not compress. And so when you are pushing out that water here, you get a dramatic and immediate rise in your pressure, which increases your risk of injury because you have that all of a sudden just instantaneous pow, pressure change, especially if you just squeeze down really hard and you push a lot of water out all at once. So by pushing this into your pelvis, the fact that you're using water and the fact that, there's that immediate pressure rise, this is one of the most dangerous things that you can use. Now, that being said, this also has a very high injury rate. Why is that? Because it's also extremely popular. The most guys are using that. I say this far too often, but there's a correlation between eating ice cream and drowning in the summertime. It's not that eating ice cream causes drowning. It's that when you're eating ice cream when it's hot outside, and when you're hot outside, you're also swimming, and swimming leads to drowning, guys. So just take that with a grain of salt. So this, I would never recommend this. If you're going to use it, use one with like the hand pump. You'd be better off getting a solid air pump like Layla, Mustang. Yeah, I don't know. Just Google on, whatever, eBay. There's a lot of different pumps you can use that have a gauge. You can get an air pump and have a water trap, and it's a much safer experience. Side to side stretches, guys. I made a whole, in-depth post about how there's actually a urologic paper that shows that if you have a repetitive trauma, like, pulling on your member, and while you have tension on it, moving it from side to side, it can cause basically nerve damage, guys. There's a little small area that goes like underneath your pelvis. It's called Alcock's canal. It's particularly sensitive to damage, and you have your like pudendal nerve and some of the arteries that go to feed the penis that run through that area. And so if you are constantly irritating that area by pulling and jerking from side to side, you are putting yourself at a dramatically increased risk of injury, guys. One of the far and above, one of the most common things that I get messaged about is they were doing side to side, they felt a pop, and then all of a sudden they went limp and can't get hard anymore, guys. So please never do the side to side stretch ever. If you're going to do manual stretches, which can be dangerous, guys, you're going to pull gently and apply a static pressure and then release that pressure when you're ready. You don't ever have tension on it and are moving it from side to side. Never, ever, 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 in my opinion. So here's another hot take, and I'm not trying to be all like glasses half full, but guys, you have to stop attaching so much worth to your penis size, okay? There's been studies, and I'll put up one here, that show like 80% of women do not give a single F about the size of your penis, okay? They're in it for you, for what you have to offer, for the emotional connection that you can reach with them. Now, I'm not talking about these thotties on like, Tinder, or these guys that are out here just running through chicks that are, saying, all these girls think size matters. That's a different subset of people that I'm not talking about. I'm not judging either. Do you? I'm just saying, when you look at most traditional relationships, most women are very happy with the size of their partner's member, guys. You can't put so much weight on the size of your D. That's not who you are. That's not how you define your worth. I know that's easy for me to say, but you need to maximize all the aspects of your life. Your physical fitness, your career, your personality. You can be charming. There are so many things that matter so much more. And quite honestly, especially in today's day and and age, the only thing that matters is the size of your bank account for some of these chicks. But, you know, I'm not trying to go down that whole pathway. I'm just saying, guys, maximize yourself. Stop worrying so much and going into like these deep depressive states about the size of your member. That being said, that was me at one point, so I'm not here to throw stones, okay? So what else has got to go? The mentality that more is more. So many guys I see, I'm reviewing their current regimens, and they do like heated stretches, and then they do clamping, and then they use an extender, and then they put it on an all-day stretcher, and then they go and pump, and then they go and clamp after that, and then they finish with another set of pumping. And I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? That is way too much, and you are going to injure yourself. More is not always more. BD has been recently posting about how he used to be doing like upwards of like 2 to 3 hours of PE a day, and now he's grown like crazy, and he's cut down, and it's like 45, like 50 minutes of PE, like maximum every day. And no, it's not even every day. It's like every other day, guys. And so you can't just think that more is more. The more you do, the more you're going to put yourself at risk of injury. So just take it easy, guys. Start off slow, especially for you beginners. Find out something that you can work, do reliably, and stick to that, okay? Then gradually, maybe if you start to plateau, start adding more things. For me personally, guys, you know, I have always been one of these less is more kind of guys. I have said from the beginning, I do maybe like 30 minutes of manual stretches a day, and then I use a pump for somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes a day, and I still am growing. I've always been like, you don't need to be doing hours in PE. That's always been what I've said. And so it's nice to see that some of the like thought leaders are starting to come around and kind of agree with me more as far as the actual total duration of PE time that you need to do. But anyways, less can be more, especially when we're talking about PE, because guys, I'll tell you, if you try to do all this stuff and then you get injured, that's going to set back your process, because you're going to have to take, you know, months off to recover, and you're not going to be able to do PE in that time, guys. So take it easy. Stop thinking that more is more. And so I think the number one thing that's got to go is this quick gains mentality, guys.
To try that radical penis enlargement.
Peter, I don't think...
Ryan, your objections are duly noted. Now hit the gas!
You know that would never work again in a million years.
Don't need it to, Brian.
If you are trying to do PE and you are serious about it, you need to be in it for the long haul. I mean, at the very least, I would say 6 months, okay, to see a visible change. In my opinion, the rate of growth is somewhere between 0.05 to 0.1 inches per month, guys. I think that if you are consistent and you are lucky, that over the span of the year, you might get an inch in length. Maybe, okay? I honestly think somewhere between a half an inch to 0.8 inches is probably more realistic, but you know, that's just my take on things. And so if you think that, I mean, all of these people that hop on Reddit and say, all right, guys, what's the fastest way that I can gain 2 inches in length and an inch in girth? I only have 15 minutes to spare a day. Let me know. Like, this is not for you guys. This is, I mean, I hate to use gym metaphors, but, you know, especially if you're a natural guy lifting in the gym, and even if you're enhanced, guys, like, you're not just going to all of a sudden turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's a very slow and prolonged process, especially if you're not enhanced. And so you have to think of this as a long haul and something that you're going to be looking at doing depending on your goal for several months to sometimes even years, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you need to reach me for any reason, you can go through my Patreon. It's at Doc Hink. Once again, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace. And also, guys, I got a new lamp, so I'm hoping my lighting is better. And so if you notice my lighting is better and you're still watching at this point, just go ahead and leave that in the comments for me, because I did invest some of my like Patreon / minimal YouTube money on a new lamp for this area. So hopefully it's made a difference, guys. But anyways, catch you on the next one for real this time. Peace.